BRSCC SW Motorsport Clubsport Trophy. Always an entertaining addition to any race weekend. They've supported TCR UK a few times this year already, and they're back again here at Silverstone. 45-minute race, a mandatory pit stop for all cars in the middle 15 minutes, so from minute 15 to 30. And it is a big grid of cars. I'm not sure whether they're going to get... Yes, they will get a green flag lap because it's a rolling start these days for Clubsport trophies. So, yeah, we'll get an opportunity now to take a look at how they're going to line up on the grid then. We've got 43 of them to get through, so we'll get started as soon as we can. It's Chris Murphy on pole position, the 721 car. That is the BMW, one of the BMW Z4s that set the fastest lap time in qualifying. A 124.425, though, was only 3/100ths of a second quicker than Feroz Bilamoria in the always rapid VW Scirocco. Jim Benson, number 59, starts third in his Lotus Elise. We've seen him racing BMW compacts in the past very successfully, with Jim now in a Lotus Elise. And then the first of the two driver cars, that's the number 77, which is the Rob Boston and Sam Reuter Mazda MX-5. Row 3 then for Callum Bates, the number 10 car, that is another one of the BMW Z4s, and Matthew Bolton, number 29, which is an M3 BMW starting from row 3. Fourth row of the grid then for Alistair Lindsay and Kieran Power. Alistair Lindsay in an Audi TT, Kieran Power, number 24, in another one of those rapid BMW Z4s. Then Shane Kelly, 111 Shane Kelly, former Formula 3 racer, in a Morgan Plus 4, starting from the inside of row number 5, alongside the 153 of Kevin Sterling. That is one of the Renault Clios, a very well-placed Renault Clio, actually, inside the top 10 overall. Steve Wood and Mike Parsons are together on the next row of the grid. Steve Wood in a BMW Z4, Mike Parsons in a VW Golf, and then on row number 7, Richard Clark and Martin Cully. Richard Clark, number 25, is a Mark 7 VW Golf, and Martin Cully in, as always, his very well prepared Seat Leon. That's well up the grid, actually, just knocking on the door of the top 10. Row 8 then, another two driver entry. That's the 777 car, sorry, the 177 car, I should say, which is Darren and Joseph Duke's BMW Z4. Stephen Harrison, number 4, in a Renault Clio, is next. Then you've got the number 32 machine. That is shared by Mark Jones and Steve Kite, a Civic Type R, and they will have Andrew Stevens alongside them in his Mini Cooper. 10th row of the grid then, completing the top 20, that is the Watling and Wheeler number 14 car. Nick Watling, Jack Wheeler in a Ford Fiesta ST150, and they've got Barnaby Francis in the number 8 Mazda RX-8 next. That's always a fun car to watch. Paul Savage, number 124, is next. A late addition, I think, Paul Savage to the entry. The 124 car is, looking out of the window, an Audi TT, I can tell you, and he has got James Alford in the VW Golf, in theory, alongside James Alford in the number 116, but I'm not... sorry, the Honda Civic, I should say. I think he's out of position slightly on the grid. Then the Adcocks, Matthew and Phil Adcock in their Class E front-running BMW compact. They have got Lee Reynolds, the number 60, next. That is a Honda Integra, followed by, on the 13th row of the grid, the Matt Massey number 241 car, which is a Honda Civic Type R, and the number 91 Nobolivsky car, that is shared by Richard and Christoph Novovilsky, I should say, in their BMW Z4. Right, we're just past halfway. Stick with me, everyone. 14th row of the grid, number 64, which is the Adam Schaefer Peugeot 206, and alongside him, Ian Howes in the number 227 car. That is the BMW 1 Series of Ian Howes. That should be one to watch. Next up is David Cox and Barry Cully together, completing the top 30. David Cox, number 151, is a VW Golf, and Barry Cully, number 11, is one of those rapid Seats, one of two Seats on the grid in this race. Then we've got Christian Goodall and Sergei Miniev on row number 16 of the grid. Goodall, number 96, in a Honda Civic Type R. Sergei, in the number 79, is in a BMW 325 Ti. Then we've got two cars actually being shared by two drivers. First of all, number 48, that's Michael Nash and Veer Aldridge in the BMW 46, and alongside them the Hayes and Bruce 93 BMW compact, although only Marcus Bruce was entered on the official entry list, so he may be going it alone. Then Adam Radford, 35th on the grid, the number 40 car in a BMW Z4. A bit further down than some of the other Z4s, it runs in a different class, I think, to the other ones, with Richard Sutherland, number 78, next in his BMW Compact Cup car that I'd imagine we'll see him out in tomorrow in the Compact Cup itself. Stephen Watson and Chris Fantana are next, row 19 of the grid. Stephen Watson, 107, is a Renault Clio, and Chris Fantana, number 22, is a Mazda MX-5, Mark 1 Mazda MX-5. Craig Emerson and Anthony Paddock then share row 20. Emerson, number 75, is a BMW, and Anthony Paddock, number 114, is a Mini Cooper S. Penultimate row of the grid is Stuart Kilroy and Gary Hobbs. Kilroy in the Peugeot 207 GTI, and Gary Hobbs in his number 38 Hyundai Coupe, which ended up in the gravel trap on the start-finish straight in qualifying this morning. And at the back of the grid, 43rd and 44th respectively, William Guy in the 507, a late addition to the grid, 5 of Gary Paddock in a Mark III Mazda MX-5. So as always, an eclectic mix of cars, a big grid of cars set to do battle for 45 minutes in the SW Motorsports Clubsport Trophy. There are of course several different classes out there, classes A through to E. We'll pick up on who's doing well in each of the classes once the race gets on. But Richard, John Neal, what a fabulous sight they make as they pour down the Hagler Straight, and what a great race we've got in store.
Absolutely brilliant. Shades of other things that we've got to come for BRSCC next year in terms of shorter races,
yes,
maybe more races rather than the one per meeting. Will this still run? Is this in addition to?
I believe so. I believe so, yes.
Fantastic. So you can have your longer races. I know that the club were listening to drivers saying, hey, you know, we'd actually quite like some shorter ones, some sprint races, as opposed to endurance. We can't call this endurance, I know will. But super entry. I did try and get the starting points. Did you get those through? We picked them anyway.
I haven't had them.
I think, to be fair, I'm probably asking Lindsay Close to do a little bit too much. He's coordinating about 4 championships today. I did ask if it was possible, but the only one I can tell you is that Adcock Jr. starts. It's the only one I know for sure.
But that one I could normally figure out, because if Phil's not in the car, he's normally messaging me, so we would probably have figured that one out in the end anyway. There you go. Right then, race about to get underway. Chris Murphy and Feroz Villamoria on the front row of the grid, and off they will go. Villamoria with a good start in the Scirocco. In fact, the Z4 quite slow away. Steaming round the outside with Matthew Bolton in the number 29 BMW, and another one in the pit wall, and it's the 107 car, the Renault Clio, that has found the pit wall this time round, and that's going to be a race stopping short down the order, I think. How they got there, I don't know. Stephen Watson's race, though, coming to a very premature end. In fact, he started at it, to be honest, when he ended up in the pit wall. So that will require a safety car, at the very least, I would imagine. But for now, Villamoria leading in the Scirocco, the BMW Bolton second, and that is the Mazda, that's the Boston and Reuter car, isn't it, in third? Who's starting it, we don't know, but we've got Boston prepared car really well in third place.
It is, you know, things happen in threes.
Yes.
And hopefully that'll be the weekend. Always really, really sad to see pick up that damage amount of love and attention, money as well as time that goes into these cars. I get quite impressed when people post these accident video compilations on YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't know if you said it or not. It's quite hard.
Yes, it's not, I mean, it's easy for us, isn't it, as a form of entertainment, but for the drivers and teams involved, they're pouring blood, sweat and tears into this, aren't they? And especially at a level like this is proper club racing, the Clubsport Trophy, and the drivers who do this don't have an enormous budget. Especially for it to happen so early in the race, that is a real shame, isn't it? But hopefully Stephen Watson's okay, and they'll be able to move him and the car out of harm's way pretty swiftly. But you can see the Renault absolutely head first, hasn't it, into that concrete wall, which is fairly unforgiving, as you can imagine. So the cars then pick their way through, and Villamoria leading. Brilliant start that from Matthew Bolton, though, up into second position from 6th on the grid. Wow. The power of the BMW, but it's one thing to have that power, you've then got to find the gaps to utilise it, which he absolutely did.
Oh yeah,
he did absolutely use it real well. It's the class structure for this series.
Yeah.
It's 5 classes in the Clubsport production series that the BRSCC have put together, and the sprint.
That is a very good question.
I should have done a comparison before I got into the box. Whether people would be able to double up in, effectively opening up. They will be championships after the first year. Of course, you're not going to have a championship the first year.
I will have an answer for you shortly.
That's all right.
I've got the class structure for the new series, the Pro Sport Sprint Series, and I will double check that against the Clubsport Trophy. So talk amongst yourselves, everybody, and I'll have an answer for you shortly.
I was going to, when we were, those of you that had a long time ago now, when we were at the other end of Silverstone, we were talking about the fact that the series has looked to drive it okay, which is good. Medics just checking him out. I said in the pit walk for the Fiesta Senior race that the medical care that you get in the circuits these days, well, not just these days, but forever has been great, but it gets better as things go on. I think we're going to have a look and see what happens off the start.
Is it that pesky curve again? Oh no, he's on the inside. Huge tank slapper. Oh, he nearly had it and crunch. They're not quite as substantial an impact as I first feared, in fairness, so maybe it's more superficial than anything else, but cold rear tyres, front wheel drive car, so easy to get into that tank slapper situation. And of course the one thing you don't want to do is spin into the pack, because you never know what's going to happen then. So yeah, really unfortunate that.
Well, Andy's saying, Steve, that not much damage, you'll be round to fix it. No, I'm joking. I'll go back to what we were talking about in terms of series. Remember there was the consultation, and I got all upset about MSUK saying consultation's a done deal. It wasn't, was it, with series? They've actually listened to the motorsport community, which is great. So well done to MSUK for doing that. Rather funny thing though, after that, on the Monday, after making the comments, the I don't. Are you on LinkedIn?
I'm not, no.
LinkedIn, you can see who's viewed you, or see what companies have viewed your profile. And after I made the comments, the Monday after I made the comments, 5 people from MSUK had viewed my profile.
Oh, really?
Who's he? But they, top job, they listened, they sorted it out. So things like modified 4, I think it was modified 4s we were talking about predominantly.
Yes, I think it was.
Because they've got the down at Navarra. I'm not sure when that is, if they had that yet, or is it coming up? But
not sure.
Sure. We were talking about the series not being able to, have more than 6 events, go outside the country if they wanted to, and of course this is a series, and there was the illusion you're not allowed to say that you win anything. I think Clubsport Trophy, probably what we're going to do is maybe just have a series to trophy
yes.
series. You've got to give something.
Absolutely, it's the least they deserve. I think isn't it, coming out supporting the club, and, as I said, putting all that time, effort, money into getting the car on the track.
Yeah.
You do that for a reason, not just to have fun. That is a big part of it, obviously, but yeah, to have something you're fighting for. I think that's fairly common sense. If you ask me, but there you go. Right, I've got an answer for you. So I forgot what the question is. Were you specifically talking about the that I don't have an answer for? Was it the production cup you were asking about, or was it the Pro Sport Sprint Series?
Got both there.
I do. Came prepared, Richard. So the production cup is identical to this. So it's exactly the same class structure, all about power to weight ratio. So Class A, 260 to 235 brake horsepower per tonne, exactly the same as in the Clubsport Trophy.
So you get the shorter races.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So that is very much the idea. Then you've got the Sprint Series where there is no power limit, basically. So it's anything above 351 brake horsepower per tonne will go into the top class, or essentially whatever you like will go into that top class, and then down. Right, absolutely. They're pretty much open to anything. And there was talk last night over dinner about a couple of old Mosler GT cars that might be sitting around, and getting those things out on track. That's very much the idea, I think, of that.
Thundersport, isn't it?
Exactly that. And the lowest class, Class F, will be for cars 150 to 190 brake horsepower per tonne. Well, that's kind of the most powerful cars you tend to see in this. That's very much for your big sort of grunt and go cars. And then you've got the Production Cup and the Clubsport Trophy, running to exactly the same class structure but different length races. Hope that answered your question.
Spot on. And anybody listening who wanted clarification, relatively new announcements, I think the last 14 days or so, those went out. And there are pages, Andy's proved the point, there are pages up on the website ready to go. There's the university.
I was reeling that off from my head, Rich.
You did?
I knew all
apologies,
of No, I would definitely recommend going to the BRSCC website. It is a very useful tool, whether you're working on the championships or interested in getting involved.
Just tell me what browser you use.
Chrome, probably.
Yeah, Chrome is better.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the other one. The other one.
A blue.
Yeah.
The extent of my I do have that open at the moment as well.
It doesn't work as well with the blue one. It's better on the Chrome.
Oh, does it?
The developers will look at that.
Oh,
Yeah, so I've got Mac and Chrome.
conveniently, they do listen to us as well. I can't think why.
Poor souls.
Someone's got to, I suppose. So yeah, well, there you go.
They both work, but I just
Yes, the Chrome's
Chrome's
better.
a little bit better.
Right, okay.
A little bit more.
Note to everyone at home: if you do want to go and read the regs to the Clubsport Trophy, get yourself on Chrome. That's going to be the best way to do it for now. Over the way, that's a little winter project.
It's easier on Mac actually to have two different browsers because it's easier to toggle between two browsers than two tabs in one browser.
Yes, yes. I mean, I'm sure the best of times, but yes, I have seen that is the case. So, who knew? Who knew I'd be getting IT lessons from Richard John Neal?
That's not a lesson, no. It's just, you were there already.
I've learned some things. That's definitely true. Right, back to the race. Which, in fairness, we haven't really had much on, have we? Because we only had half a lap or so before the safety car was scrambled. The track has now been cleared, though. As you can see,
That was quick.
that was very quick. Yes, and a shout out to the marshals as always.
What did they do yesterday so quick? I'm joking, Marshall's all right. I am.
I refer you to your earlier comment.
Yeah,
You can go out there and do it quicker, maybe. So
Yeah,
show how it's
I've been
done.
invited actually to a Marshall to do a not a training day, but a day with them. I've just got to work out when I can do it. Probably start next year. But yeah,
I'm sure we can accommodate. I'm sure we can accommodate. It's something well worth doing, to be honest, because I think we've had this conversation probably before, but I do think a lot of people involved in motorsport, either competing or working in the industry, really do take for granted a little bit what the marshals do, what the recovery crews do. You know, we kind of think they're there to go and clear a car, and it's all pretty simple and straightforward. Every incident is different, and they have to be able to respond to each incident in the correct manner, making sure that driver safety is as a priority, and then they deal with it as efficiently as they always do. So there's a lot more to it than you would think, I would imagine, and it's a special breed of person who can go and stand out in all weathers on a day like this, still be enthusiastic about it, still enjoy themselves, but ultimately they're there to do a job. They do it tremendously well.
Marshall training and improvement is driven by racing, which is the middle weekend in November here on the national circuit. So good event last year, good fun. Managed to go for both days. I'm sure we'll make it this year, unfortunately. I'll try, but there's odds tests and all kind of things going on as well as we go racing again here.
Yes, we do, and it is for Roseman and Warrior with the lead, but for how much longer? Matthew Bolton already looking to try and get to the inside into Abbey Corner, can't quite do it. Then you've got the Boston and Reuter MX-5 behind, and there look Shane Kelly and that awesome Morgan making some ground up as well. But this is a terrific tussle for the race lead. Bill Warrior leads, front wheel drive Scirocco, rear wheel drive big beefy BMW in second, and the little Mazda MX-5 in third. Then the Lotus moves up into fourth position, picking up an extra position as they all try and shuffle through the right-hander at Village. Head off down the Hanger Straight once again for the first time at full racing speed then. Green to the end. We've got 9 minutes actually until the no, tell a lie, we've got 4 minutes until the pit window opens, because we really haven't been into this 45-minute race, haven't we? There goes Shane Kelly moving through on the inside line. And Shane Kelly, former Formula 3 racer, now getting to grips with something a little bit different in the shape of the Morgan.
Yeah, with the uni lads and lasses, wouldn't we?
Yes.
It's the same team as it's the
I think it is, yes. Yeah.
Who look after one of the radicals. They've got really getting stuck in. We interviewed them, it was live stream back from Snedden. We did quite a long interview. Shane wasn't there at all at that time. So, bless him, the chief engineer came out. And the lad that came out, apologies for not remembering his name, but came out to the super interview until Shane came over and took over at the end of it. But all part and parcel of learning from those guys. So university team running the ball, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely so. And that was always the case when he raced in F3 Cup as well. It was always a car run by the university. He was winning races regularly when it was pretty competitive as well. 4 or 5 years ago, probably then into the Pragas he went as well, where he again had race wins, all supported by the uni students. So it's a great programme that he's been involved in, and continues to be involved again. Right, 2 BMW compacts together. Matt Adcock there, Matthew Adcock on the outside line. Phil Adcock waiting in the wings. I should give them their 30 seconds of limelight, shouldn't I? Because Phil did give me some good information before the weekend, saying that his wife has actually made the trip to Silverstone this weekend.
So she did since the third drive.
She got there before me, unfortunately. No, she is here for only the second time since Phil has been racing. Apparently she was here a number of years ago to watch the Compact Cup race, and poor Martin Gadsby ended up in pit, was right in front of her, and she decided, no, I don't want anything to do with this, I just want to watch from home. So she's made the trip to Silverstone.
She coincidentally standing on the pit wall where Cleo went in.
I do hope not, although, yes, it was, they're made right underneath us, the Adcock, so they may well have been. I was desperately searching through the many messages that I've had, and I can tell you, Jane is her name. So, good afternoon, Jane. Good to have you here at Silverstone. And how is how are your lads getting on? They are leading in Class E, as so often, Richard, is the case. That car always goes well.
Yeah, apparently Junior was fourth in qualifying at one stage. A message was sent on the radio. He said he was going to send a message on the radio. They've got radio speaker. Said that he was going to go for the pole. He said no. But he ended up a little further down. But that was a little general. Thank you for that. When you get your go?
Well, it's just as soon as Phil can persuade me to do it. I think maybe over the winter. Maybe, well, definitely over the winter.
Hard course?
No, not yet.
Driven by racing, about 3 or 4 weeks' time. Hard course.
Yeah, it's in the diary. It is in the diary, genuinely. It's, you know, this time next year, Richard, you'll Scott be up here and it'll be me out there. Maybe not going for pole, but we'll see. Anyway, the BMW leading its class at the moment. They might as well get the wins in now, might they, before they put me in for the races next year. The Z4 is also going well here, battling with Shane Kelly in the Morgan. All of the Z4 sort of coming together here, 4 in this group alone, and they produce some pretty good racing in the past as well. This is all going on just towards the back end of the top 10, and some familiar Clubsport names in this group. And Morgan continues to march forwards.
Yeah, great car, isn't it? And it's amazing how often they pop up, and it's great to see. You know, one make championship absolutely fine, but every so often you just need the antidote to it. See all the different types of cars battling with each other. And it's also great to compare sizes as well as anything else.
Yeah, no, absolutely it is. It's, I do like multi-class racing. It's why I'm glad that there are some new series coming along now that very much sort of do that, because it creates a completely different kind of racing. Different cars are quick at certain parts of the circuit. Some are better in a straight line, some are better through the tight corners, some are better through the high-speed corners, and at a circuit like this, which has got a little bit of everything, it does produce fascinating racing. One-lane racing is great, I absolutely love it, but yeah, this is a nice little change, isn't it, to have such a great variety of car out on circuit at the same time. It's the Scirocco though that leads the way after Rose Memorial. Matt Moulton in second. They both run in Class A, by the way. Class B though, this is the battle for the lead. Jim Benson in the Lotus Exige has now caught the Ron Boston and Sam Reuter MX-5. They both run in Class B, so that is a genuine battle for the class lead. Class C is being led at the moment by the number 64 car, Adam Schaefer, the Peugeot 206 GTI, down in 23rd place overall. Class D by the number 150 of Andrew Stevens, the Mini Cooper, and Class E, as I mentioned, being led by Matthew Adcock at the moment, down in Matthew 28th place overall. Richard Sutherland, another compact, running second in that class at the moment.
It's the same to the top of it. Same class. Thank you, Paul. Paul's watching.
Oh, my best behaviour, everyone. So, battle for second place then. Yes, thank you, Paul. Down the Hanger Straight they go. Bolton doing the best here to keep the two Class B front runners behind, but those two going side by side now. Jim Benson's the outside of the MX-5. The Lotus a bit quicker, maybe in a straight line. Who's going to be left later on the brakes, though? The Mazda on the inside, the A-team car manages to stay in front for now, but a really entertaining tussle this between two quite similar cars in some ways, really. Both sort of lightweight, rear-engine, two-seater sports cars, and both of them seemingly very evenly matched. For now, the window will shuffle things up, of course, but for now, those two pretty much inseparable. As we're about, though, to head into the traffic. It's coming a bit later into the race than normal because of the safety car, but the leaders have now caught back of the pack, and this, as we know, Richard, often presents a completely different dynamic to these races.
It does. So many things that you can add into this, isn't there, with the multi-class and of course the pit stops with that different dimension to it, as well as Ferros continues to gap Matthew Bolton. He is away. I'm wondering whether the one car is going to hit early and get it out of the way.
It's sensible, really, in case you get a safety car, isn't it?
Yeah.
Safety cars in theory are unlikely here at Silverstone. We've had a fair few really over today so far, so yeah, that's probably not a bad shout. Of course, what you don't want to do though is get trapped a lap down if there were to be a safety car, and because it's such a long pit stop and a relatively short lap, that is a real possibility for Rose Memorial to start fast as well. Set 4s was in, that was Adam Bradford, wasn't it? 40.
They should be the
Lady driver so far to
Red order.
big slide for the Boston and Reuter car, which runs in second place, lead of the class, third overall. Sort of on the Honda Civics outright. That was the number 241 car. In second position, not able to quite live with Billamoria's pace, and through the traffic, that big BMW looks a little bit cumbersome, doesn't it? Just not quite getting through the slower cars as quickly, certainly as the more agile Class B cars behind. You can see there how the number 77 Mazda and the 59 Lotus have closed right back in again through the top end of the circuit. There is the leader, Rose Billamoria. Slow, was he not, out of the right-hander there? That car did not look to be accelerating in quite the way I would expect it to. But to be fair, I think struggling a little bit for traction out of the corner. Slowly, maybe not, just being cautious, I think, in traffic. Down particularly over the first half of this lap. We do have an issue there from the 14 car, though that's possibly why they were slow. Actually, Nick Watling and Jack Wheeler's Fiesta is off. That's on the right hand that takes them on to the straight. Possibly is why they were going quite slowly. Going slowly as well. And the club chicane, I think that one might be destined for the pit lane for too much longer. That car does its best to stay out of everybody's way. The MX-5 slips through, and Matthew Bolton sets fastest lap because he's pitted. So too is Feroz Billamoria. So the top two both pitting. They will set a fastest lap in doing that because it's actually a shorter route to the timing line by going around the inside of Club Corner. So the two leaders pitting, and to your point, Richard, both of them single driver entries, and both deciding to get this pit stop out of the way nice and early.
Yep, give them a nice stint to run to the flag, don't have to worry, job done, all over. Might, of course, have decided as well that it might work traffic-wise. What I don't know is whether these guys, you can see most of them got people around them and teams around them to help time the stop from run in to run out. Some people, very bravely, that turn up on their own, do it on their own.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be able to cope with that, personally, but...
No, I think that would confuse me as well. Change there for the lead, by the way, because that is Jim Benson now ahead of the Boston and Reuter car. That's not only for the leading class, but of course with the Class A runners pitting, that's now for the lead. So whether either of them will pit this time, I'm not so sure. Let's see, they drop down the hill. No, they're going to continue battling, but the Lotus is now ahead of the Mazda MX-5. That's been coming for a while, but Jim Benson hadn't yet been able to make the move stick. In traffic, though, he managed to slip through pretty effectively. Goes Stuart Kilroy there. The regular car being attended to by the marshals with a smoke and steam coming in front of it, which I need to address. Benson now classified as the race leader, pitches the car into Abbey Corner. Such a spectacular corner, that. Really quick right-hander at the end of the Lewis Hamilton straight. More traffic beckons for those two. Alistair Lindsay is third now in the number 6 car, and then Shane Kelly in the Morgan up to fourth, but not a huge amount of cars heading for the pit lane yet, Richard.
No, there aren't. I guess with the safety car, it might be some readjustment for the 2 driver entries just to make sure that everyone gets an equal chance of racing laps, which is a key consideration that will be thought about. Chasing hard. Last time so we thought it was going quickly from Boston, it was actually the other way around.
So you'll notice I've not attached a name to that car yet in this stint. We'll wait and see who gets out of the pit stops. It was going quickly again, isn't it? Closing back in on Jim Benson actually. Number 60 there, the Integra. Reverses out. Nick Reynolds in the number 60 car. Again, a solo driver. It's for there to be a gap in the traffic because the Misty Racing MX-5 was coming in. They will go. The outright leaders call it to lap now the Class E leaders. The Adcox, in fairness, don't have a huge amount of opposition in that class this weekend. Richard Sutherland is out there, Chris Fontana in an MX-5, and then a couple of others as well. The 507 is Class E car, and that's Matt Bolton. Well, he pitted, and I think maybe on his outlap, Richard, that car has stopped at the side of the road.
It has. Is that going to necessitate another safety car?
Hope not, really, at this point in the race. Things up quite a lot, wouldn't it? But where is it is the question. I wondered whether it was... Yeah, we had one car off at the exit of Chapel, but I can't see another one, so I'm not really sure. But wherever he is, hopefully he's well off the track, and yeah, we'll be able to carry on racing.
They've told me about, what the settings be. You generally think that they'd be around about the same sort of height. These cars.
parked in pit lane, and they will send them back out again as we get a bit of a civic battle here. The 116 car living inside of 96, 116 James Alford, 96 Christian Goodall. Was that the position? I'm not convinced it was. Alford looked to be going a lot quicker than Goodall. He starts to pull away now. The race leaders not that far behind, and still the Boston Reuter car sticking with Jim Benson. He lost the lead, not being dropped one little bit. Alistair Lindsay now picks third position. So probably half the field, maybe just over half the field, have now made their stop with about 6 minutes of the pit window still to go.
Good, so good progress so far.
Well, hard to tell, isn't it? Because it only updates at the end of each lap, but I think Villamoria is 23rd, having stopped. I think he's the highest place car that has exited the pit lane, if that makes sense. So I think Villamoria will still be in a good position. A lot of times as he's running there, he's doing 116s. So yeah, a little bit quicker than the race leaders, in fairness. So I think he should still be comfortably the leader after the stops. And of course Matthew Bolton was second, no longer running, so it takes the pressure off Villamoria quite a bit.
Interesting to see whether any of the top runners actually returned.
Yeah, well, exactly, yes. Will they run on the same weekends or not? Shrug of shoulders, I guess the calendar as well, yeah.
So Paul we could actually get Paul to send the pictures of it.
That'd be a good idea, yeah. Won't go any further.
He did tell me he'd done them, so...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yes, I would imagine they'll go for different weekends where they can, in the hope that people will do one, I suppose. That's isn't it? But drivers would like that too. More opportunities to go out and race, not have to pick one over the other. As the leading car and indeed the second place car have a rather close moment with the 79 Inwell Jim Benson has eventually slipped back behind the Boston Reuter car in all of that, and decided he had quite enough of that as the Servo nearly collided with both of them. So this will be interesting because they were absolutely together at the start of the window. It looks like this car will be heading in this time based on the hand gestures coming from within the car that time.
Georgia Rex, Sam Reuter.
I'm going to go Reuter, yes. Could be Boston. But if I had to choose, I'd say we'll find out. Let's get a camera trained on that so we can figure that out once and for all.
All very well, but Laura won't exactly know where to be. So
No, we don't know where to be either, so...
that's the difficulty of getting starting lineups as well. Had the Honda race been before this, I could have done the quiz of the holding area while that was on, but we had the mini-BBS, so we're unable to do that.
National orange. Can't see a name on the helmet either, that should be mandatory, I think, as commentators say. We often don't see a driver not wearing a helmet or not in a car, so
it's nice to know. I mean, just to sort of fill you in if you're watching the stream for the first time, it's difficult at this level always to get the information. If you are at one of these car events, feel free to link us know, see us, tell us. We do try and get the information, we do ask for it, but equally this type of event, the officials have quite enough to do without my request. What can you tell us in So it is nice to know. Apologies to those families and friends where we perhaps haven't known. The only thing you can do is like formalise and make it on the entry.
yeah, well, yes, and then half the time they change their mind anyway. One of the other championships we cover quite a lot with the BRSCC is the Fun Cup, where they do have to tell us, and they still don't stick to it anyway. So it's all well and good telling them these things, but strategies can change on the fly sometimes, can't they? The good news is Laura, our roving camera operator down in the pit lane, has got 3 minutes to locate the number 77 master, which is now in the pit lane, and try and figure out who got in and who got out, because that's how long the pit stop is. It's a fairly lengthy pit lane, but I think all of the Clubsport drivers are together pretty much at this end, the entry end of the pit lane. We have now pretty much cars in. There are 2 cars, I think, that haven't yet stopped. Number 10, Callum Bates in one of the Z4s. So out wide goes one of the Civics up at Village Corner, and the other one, number 8, the Barney Francis Master RX. They're the only 2 that haven't yet stopped. So within a few minutes' time, we'll have a proper idea of what the order is going to be post pit stops, but particularly going to be interesting to see what happens in that Class B battle.
I was expecting, I mean, Firo's is climbing up the order. He was in 12th on the last lap. How far away was he?
Yes. Shane Kelly coming through, I think he's going to be well there as well, isn't he? This is all said and done.
Firo's looking for a 3rd outright win of the year, one at Brown Town. And Donington Park. I'm normally his death Firo's. So he, I must admit, he didn't seem pleased to see me this morning.
Oh no.
So he probably thinks, oh, I never win with his
Oh right, well there's the Mazda.
Yep.
With either Sam Reuter or Ron Boston in it. He's back out on track. I reckon, does Ron Boston have a red crash helmet? I can't remember. We still don't know. Anyway, what I can tell you is it's out in front of the Jim Benson car by the looks of it, but again, not much between them really, so that is going to be the battle, I think, isn't it, to watch for through the second half of the race. It's much the same margin really as it was before. It's not as it should be because there is a bit of a pit stop time that they all have to adhere to, and shouldn't gain use any big chunks of time in the pit lane, and that certainly is the case here. The difference, of course, is that Jim Benson is fully up to speed. Whoever is in the number 77 car is not, and I think that's why we're about to see Jim Benson immediately move up to challenge for the lead when only a couple of corners early, several seconds back.
Well, several seconds back, just running pit stop tracks. If you didn't know, if you're on your own, you just follow someone else in.
Yes.
And then go where they went.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, yeah. Most of them will have a race countdown clock, I think, in the car, so they can sort of look at, like, that's the time it was when I came in, let's wait 3 minutes. Possibly, but it is tricky because it's that pit entry line to the exit line. It's not just 3 minutes station, it's 3 minutes in the pit lane. That can be a little bit trickier to gauge sometimes. But anyway, here was the lead change. Benson on the inside, and well, it's going to be 2nd place overall. That is the lead of Class B once again in the hands of the little Lotus.
Yeah, good stuff then from Jim Benson. In that position. Now we should see. How long is is it 10 minutes for me?
15. So it's just closed, but they're probably getting a lot of possibly. Yeah, pit window closed on the timing screen, it says. And yet, we haven't had a stop before Callum Bates in the 10 car. Barney Francis came in, but not yet. So he was in this time, might just have squeezed another lap out of that stint. On his own anyways, it doesn't really matter when he pits as long as he was in the window. Down the hill comes the 77 car. One of the Z4s giving him a hard time now. I don't think that's for position, but the Z4 quickly in this second part of the race. Oh no, collision, and around goes the 72, which is, yes it is, and 93 was that? 83, 93, I think Marcus Bruce in his BMW Compact entangled with him. It was 93 on the hearing. It is getting going again. No major damage done, but a good example there of how you can end up tripping over someone in the traffic.
Very easily done, isn't it? Again, it's a track of class big grid racing, which we've got here.
Exactly so, and that's a narrow pinch point, isn't it, at Village? Well, it is. So, this time through, well, Bates still hasn't pitted. So he's ignoring the mandatory pit window. He wants to get his moment in the sunshine and lead the race, which he is doing in the BMW Z4. But he won't keep the win if he stays in front until the end of the race. Phil Adcock there comes through, just battling with the James Alford on the Civic. Is that poor position? No, it's not. Phil Adcock 25th place overall, still leads in Class E. There's a smoky Z4 just ahead of them. Look, going wide and slow. That's the 91. And that is the Richard and Christoph Novovilski car, which is unfortunately like it's destined for the pit lane and retirement with the smoke emanating from the back of it. Hopefully not dropping any fluids on the track. So still waiting for Bates to pit as well. He's just come through again. I think he's definitely missed the pit window now. Just gone through to complete the 22nd lap of the race. And leading by some way. Well, he might end up winning this race, but it's not a win sadly that he'll be able to keep. I don't think we'll be interviewing him in the pit lane, but it might be.
We might be able to had that.
No.
Coming
And I can't wait to hear the answer. Yes, so I haven't actually found him on track. I think he is somewhere around the Hanger Straight area. He's so far ahead, nearly full lap ahead of anybody else. Whereas Memoria will end up inheriting the lead. Eventually there is Silverstone in the background, just turning into the corner. So the Master MX-5s get themselves together. Mark 1 versus Mark 3. The main straight. Yeah, cars across several different classes here. Richard Sutherland's Class E BMW compact in this group as well. The BMW Golf will be inside is winning in Class B. And behind all, Rose Memoria about to inherit the overall, well, should be the overall race leader. He is 55 seconds behind Callum Bates. He's lapping 4 seconds a lap quicker than him anyway. 10.5 minutes to go. Won't catch him unless Callum does eventually decide to come in and serve this pit stop. Going out onto the Hanger Straight as well. There is Memoria in the traffic. Green, white, BMW Scirocco. Whereas Memoria, of course, looking for another race win, but there's no such thing as an easy win in this category, is there, Richard? Because even if you're miles in front as he is, you've still got lots of overtaking to do, and lots of back markers who seem intent on
Well, of course, they're all having their own battles, aren't they? And you know they've got to try and be mindful. 150 car is the lead Class D. Cooper of Andrew Stevens, multiple winner this year in Class D, and having a good old race here with Dave Cox.
Yes, who bounces up over
having
the
a curve.
Yes, this is all getting very feisty between these two. Good corner they go across the line, and another lap in the books. See this now as it comes through as the still not
Yes, you are. Keep doing what you're doing. He's slow now. He's doing 27, 26, going to 23.
Just trying to stay out of trouble here, which is easier said than done.
It is with this amount of traffic, isn't it? So got a decent gap over Jim Benson. There was the last 2 races both been won by Class B cars.
Yes.
So we've had a sort of changing with Guy Dyer taking the last 2 wins in his Audi TT.
Yeah, well, Jim Benson, in fairness, leader in Class B, is only 12 seconds behind Memoria and took nearly 4 seconds out in the previous lap. Now, because Rose is in traffic, of course, but a well-driven Class B car is not that much slower, really, than the Class A front runners, in fairness. And again, it's all based on a power-to-weight ratio calculation, but the Class A cars, they have between 260 and 235 brake horsepower to 176 minimum for Class B. So not a big difference, even around a high-speed circuit such as this one. It is still pretty close between the classes. Let's see what the lap times are like this time then, because now Benson is in the traffic. He was at the start of the lap 11 seconds back, 3.9, took another 2 seconds that time. And if that car makes short work of the traffic, Richard, it could yet contend for the win.
Could do, yeah. But as I say, you never quite know what's going to happen if the mechanical failure will go wrong. Conditions better now, so teeing up nicely for our TCR race at the end of the day as well. Glad things have been on the show.
I don't think so, no.
I've said it now, so Scott. Yeah, well, look at those clouds over there.
Yeah, they might be coming our way, actually, yes. So we'll hang tight on any definitive weather forecasts, but yeah, I think we should be all right for now. Benson towards us, needs to get past this group of traffic quickly if we're going to have any hope of chasing down Memoria. Gets to the inside of the Integra, and one of, in fact, all about the TT's in pretty close proximity here. 527, I think, was the first of those, which was a late addition to the grid. But yeah, Jim Benson could do with getting past this car into Club. That's not going to happen, is it? So he'll be stuck behind the Audi, which is a little bit heavier. Doesn't change direction quite as well as the Lotus, and that will delay him now. Coming out onto the main straight, down bravely over those still very damp painted curves. Lap time for Memoria on 20.5, sorry, on 16.9 I should say. Benson a 16.9, so that time around no real difference. But in clean air, I do think Benson might be a little bit faster.
Should be, and see what he can do about the Audi TT. Again, interesting for me to see the varying sizes of cars and Lotus looking to nip past, which he eventually does. Very neatly done down.
This is going to be good.
Past as well. So that is clear. Stevens up top 10. So good job by the Class D leader.
Ooh, Jim Benson right round the outside of the one of the golfs there onto the back straight. The distance that he's put between himself and the Boston Pointer car, I didn't see it in the shot yet, onto the hang straight. A penalty has now been issued, which will be shocked to hear. Yes, what the penalty is, I don't know. It's just an exclamation mark, which means penalty incoming, but it means he will not win this race. If he does not, well, even if he didn't win, now he's pitting outside of the pit window, so that will be still penalty incoming. It means that Jim Benson is genuinely now chasing down Rose Memoria for the win. Memoria a 17.7 that time. Jim Benson will come across the line very shortly, I hope. Little Lotus. There he goes, and does an 18.4, so now in clean air. Actually, the gap's starting to rebound now, rather than come down.
4-minute penalty.
4 minutes. Yes, it is. 240 seconds, yes, that time it tells us. A 39-second penalty, also, by the way, going to number 60. Well, that is the Reynolds Honda Integra. For a pit stop improvement of some sort, presumably. Too short that will be. Is it 10 seconds per second that they're under, like, is it some... It's 30 seconds plus the time, I'm sure, so they were 30 seconds. They were 9 seconds, oh sorry, it's 39 seconds, yes. 39 seconds, a 30-second penalty plus 1 second for every second that that pit stop time will work. And it is the penalty going away of number 60, which was 4th in Class A at the time. Bates is significantly larger. I think it might be Cannon coming down the straight towards us behind one of the colours. Yes, it is. So that's the race leading car, emotionally not really going to be winning the race. That will more than likely at this point you'd have to say go to Rose Memoria.
Looks that way, doesn't it? Should I get some TV coverage, isn't it? Stream coverage.
Oh well, yes, this is true. This is true. I'm trying to think why he's not pitted. I mean, they all went to the drivers' room, which read the regs. It is hard to imagine why he's not pitted, but anyway, he's exactly. Yes, bright coloured cars always seem to attract the cameras as well, don't they? But yeah, anyway, oh, now this looks interesting. Car on the grass, heading into Village, just avoiding contact. That is the 32 car, which almost was out of control there. Mark Jones and Steve Kite's Civic Type R. Nearly ended in calamity at Village, where we've had a fair bit of calamity in some of the sport races earlier on today. So,
if we can, have a look at Ian Howes as well. Just reminding me we've got the 1 Series Super Cup car having a shakedown in this one as well. The 227 as well.
Not directly, no. Where are they? What are they? They are 227. They are in 32nd place, 3rd in Class D. Where they are but yeah, they're doing well. And that's another one of those new series the BRSCC is trying to develop, isn't it, really, for the 1 Series. Hopefully we can start getting a few more of them out there.
I know there are cars being built.
Yes. And there are 7 of them racing tomorrow as part of the Compact Cup Grid, which I didn't realise. So thank you, Scott, for the information. So good to have a few more of those cars in existence. They're good-looking cars, proper bits of kit. And I think really they should have the same sort of success as the TT Cup has had. It's a very similar kind of idea behind them. But, yeah, basically just a rear-wheel drive version of the TT Cup, which, as we've seen, has attracted enormous grids in its debut season as Championship in 2024. Rose Memoria at the head of this pretty substantial grid. 44 cars that started. There are, I think, 5 not running anymore, including really the one car that looked like the challenge Memoria for the win, Matthew Walton's BMW, which expired just after his pit stop. But Memoria goes through to start. He's got to the race now. A very contested lead now. I don't think Jim Benson realistically in clean air has got the sort of pace to chase down the race leader. There is Benson coming through, still leads in Class B. As for other classes, Class C led still by the number 64 of Adam Schaefer. Class D by Stevens in 13th place overall. That's the 150 car, the Cooper in Class E. Shoes to the Adcocks. Well, no, it's not. Drama in Class E because the Adcocks were overtaken by the number 22 of Chris Fantana. Now, Matthew Adcock will not be happy about this because he was well in the lead when he handed over to Phil, and Phil has lost the lead, but they are absolutely together. I've just seen them go across the line, and they are nose to tail. So there's a good battle for Class E in the offing then, as very often is the case. Mazda MX-5 versus BMW Compact. Not really missed them. The bright yellow BMW Compact on the hunt with now, well, for them, 2 laps left to try and get the lead back.
It's amazing how evenly matched the cars are. I remember it was that Angus and Fuel Cups race. The BRSCC leading together, but that's very good.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, and all of the class winners were very evenly matched.
Yes, yes. Yeah, exactly. Now here they come. Look, there's the red MX-5. Oh, there's a smoky RX-8. That's the brake car of Barney Francis. So Francis, unfortunately, was running second in Class D, 17th overall. Will that car make the flag? We'll have to wait and see. He's not pitting, so he's going to try and get it to the flag if he can. Where is... Well, I suppose technically the checkered flag will go out to Callum Bates, won't it? So the race will end when he takes the checkered flag. Where he is in relation to Rose Villamoria, well, he's 42 seconds nearly up the road Villamoria. So he must be coming towards the conclusion of his final lap now, you'd imagine. So we're going to have a slightly strange situation where he's going to win the race by 40 seconds, but actually we'll have a 3-minute penalty, I think, to be applied afterwards. In fact, he's just gone through and wasn't shown the checkered flag. So I think they're going to wait. They're going to add that time on to his race time. There he goes. Look, so Callum Bates technically has taken the checkered flag. Others behind now being shown the checkered flag. There's been a fair amount of confusion starting on this, but it's who's going to end up taking the race win wherever he might be out on the track. Barney Francis car continues to go around at reasonably high speed. There goes Fantana. So Fantana, I think, has managed to hold on to winning class. Oh, hang on, Richard Sutherland. No, Richard Sutherland got past the wall on the last lap. So Richard Sutherland got past Fantana and Adcock because Fantana's car slowed. He's finished third in Class in the end, and Richard Sutherland, out of absolutely nowhere, came through to winning Class E. So that all changed on the final lap of the race. With it seemed we saw them down the Hanger Straight with half a lap to go. Fantana was well in front of Adcock, but ended up falling behind him. Maybe that delayed Phil and allowed Sutherland through as well. I'm not so sure. So it is a BMW Compact that wins, not necessarily the one we expected in Class E. Richard Sutherland. Class D has gone the way already, I believe, hasn't it, of Stevens? Yes, it has. Class B going the way of Jim Benson. Class A to Rose Villamoria. The only one I haven't mentioned is Class C, which has been won by the number 64 of Adam Schaefer. So that is how the classes finish, but a very, very topsy-turvy conclusion then to that SW Motorsports Clubsport Trophy race, with particularly in the lower classes, as is often the case, an awful lot of drama in Class E. We very often see that, and again, here at Silverstone that's the case. Villamoria has now been instated as the winner overall on the timing screen, with the penalty for the number 10 car, dropping it down to
I wonder if it's a low fuel thing.
On corrected times. Oh, fourth still, although that's, yeah, fourth place, I think. So still a solid result, and I think they're still going to claim third in Class B, despite that penalty. Right then, so we'll rattle through the results because they're almost back into pit lane. We want to give Richard as much time as we can to chat to our class winners. So for Rose Villamoria, wins overall, wins in Class A. Second place, Jim Benson, the Class B winner, ahead of the Boston and Reuter car. Callum Bates in fourth, Shane Kelly in fifth position. Sixth, Alistair Lindsay. Seventh, Kevin Sterling. Eighth, James Alford. Ninth, Kieran Power. And 10th, Mike Parsons. Rory Pickle was 11th, ahead of Chris Murphy in 12th position. 13th place then for the Jones and Kite Civic, and Paul Savage comes home in 14th position. 15th then, Andrew Stevens, the winner in Class D, with Steve Wood 16th, Barney Francis 17th, despite the smoke emanating from the back of his car in the closing stages. Lee Reynolds in 18th position. 19th place, Adam Schaefer, who was a class winner in Class C, and Adam Radford to complete the top 20. Then Christian Goodall, Sergei Miniev, the National Aldridge car was 23rd, the Dukes were 24th, Stuart Kilroy 25th, and David Cox in 26th position, ahead of Matt Massey 27th. Now, 28th place, dramatically, was Richard Sutherland, claiming the Class E win on the final lap, going from 3rd to 1st on the last lap of the race, beating the Adcox and Chris Fantana. They were split by the Hayes and Bruce car in 29th place. Ian Howes, 32nd, or in that BMW 1 Series Super Cup car, and Craig Emerson, 33rd position, running in Class C. Then it was Barry Cully ahead of Martin Cully, Gary Hobbs, Gary Paddock, the Novobilskis, were 38th, William Guy 39th, but now into those that weren't running at the time of the checkered flag. I think Stephen Harrison, the first retirement, Matthew Bolton retiring from 3rd place, Anthony Paddock and the Watling and Wheeler car, which retired early on the exit of Chapel Corner. So the SW Motorsport Clubsport Trophy race is done. They won't be back tomorrow, of course. They just have the one singular race over the course of a race weekend. But good to have them here. And not their final run, actually, of the season, because they will be back out again, won't they, for the Race of Remembrance. They'll have, well, lots of them will do the Race of Remembrance, but we'll also have quite a few of them who will be out in the Clubsport Trophy race that weekend as well up in Anglesey. So looking forward to that. That should be a great spectacle, fantastic event. I really do need to make my way over to Anglesey one year for the Race of Remembrance, which of course these days is run by the BRSCC very, very effectively as well.
Yeah, Garage 5.
Right, we hopefully will be able to head down to Richard John Neal very shortly to hear from our class winners. I think they're probably still trying to figure out where the class winners have got to, because they'll have all pulled straight into Parc Ferme and not stopped outside the garage. And don't forget, we've got one more race still to come today. It is the first race of the weekend for the TCR UK Championship. That coming up next. For now, though, let's head down into Parc Ferme, hear from Richard John Neal and, well, whoever it is he can find from the Clubsport Trophy.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
what have you done to it?
It just cut out with the restart. It'll go now.
Got enough fuel in it?
We'll find out in a minute.
I couldn't believe it. Final corner, final lap. I think it's fuel. It's got to be fuel. Let's pull the fuel cover off. Get the lifter out and look. Just look at the cameras. Yeah. Single press. Because I just want.